folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka that Tellest guy, and we are talking Tellest today. I am joined by my lovely co-hosts, most notably my sleepy wife over here.
Hello.
Hello. We've also got non-temper tantrum Luna on the floor.
Thus far,
I give it. What do we think? 3 minutes?
5.
5 is
if
you.
we're lucky.
I'm saying 3. 3 is my guesstimate. We are going to be talking about the Arcanists of Tellest today. Specifically, they're the magic users. I kind of use the term Arcanists specifically to talk about like wizards, sorceresses, witches, that kind of stuff. Whereas like clerics would kind of have their own stuff later, and it doesn't account for people who have the strain either, because they're not really studying the arcane. They're
people who study magic and utilize it would be classified more as the Arcanist.
Right. So I think our flagship Arcanist is Gaston.
Mm-hmm.
So Gaston Camlin is he kind of was I feel like we had him in the story even before we had him officially introduced in Mageborn,
mm-hmm.
because we had him as the kind of forward.
Right.
Which was weird because who the
like,
heck was this guy?
Yeah, he was like the narrator before. I think he's the closest to the Tellest persona of you as the writer.
I could see it. And that's why he's flinging around books here. His picture. Or if you prefer, in the Wizard at Study picture, we've got our most famous picture here.
Our most famous stolen picture that people like to take.
Absolutely. But it's also the cover of fantasy writing prompts now, and that's always nice. So Gaston, he definitely has a lot of arcane talent. He's been studying the arcane for a long time. He's also been studying people, so he could, in theory, be even greater had, if he wanted to be, super involved. Hello, there, Miss Necro. Thank you for chatting us. So Gaston is, just your Gandalf-esque wizard, but probably a little bit more into people than...
A little more nerdy.
A little bit more nerdy?
I think he's a little more nerdy.
And I think one of the things that he nerds out on, of course, is Adelia Cregan. Quite quiet, hard to hear. Let's see if I can turn this up. I feel like the volume is all the way up. I'll just try and talk a little bit more into the microphone, and I'll bring it closer to Rihanna as well. How's that? You bumped me.
I did. We're trying to be close here.
Oh, hello. So, Adelia Cregan is Gaston's kind of protege, his apprentice. He doesn't really take an apprentice too often, but in this case, he's made an exception because her arcane talent is a little bit different than most people's, in that she actually inherits the magical talent of her ancestors and things along those lines. So we've got a couple of pieces of Adelia art here to show off. I think this is our newest one. We've got Barnswallow, who's been creating some really cool portrait art for our characters. Adelia just wrapped up her trilogy the other day. It's the first time that we've wrapped up a trilogy in 10 years, so it's nice to have this character given some new life, and be able to show off as our flagship character.
It's very Lady Harry Potter.
Very much so.
Series.
Very much so. We've got this picture here of Adelia that was kind of an inspiration for one of the scenes in Wild Magic. You made me get rid of a jewel because
it looked a little sus. That's
so,
what I'm here for, the art direction.
We've got the Ancestral Magic Trilogy picture here, which shows Gaston and Adelia, but it also shows the third member of this troupe, Lucinda, who... What was it? Lucinda? Blackwood. The funny thing is, we've got Gaston and we've got Adelia, and they preceded Lucinda, but Lucinda is the only one who, of this group, has her own Quantum Quest character. So she will be joining the dungeon crew in around May of this year when we unleash the next Kickstarter.
For anyone who doesn't know, Lucinda's whole deal is she's a sorceress, but she's a saucy old lady about it.
Haughty.
She's a flirty sorceress.
Mm-hmm.
Little subverts the expectations of like the wise old man wizard.
Mm-hmm.
She's a saucy lady sorceress.
She is basically the concept of the frisky squirrel in female, like,
Yes,
in woman form in Sword in the Stone.
In the Sword in the Stone Disney movie, the squirrel that was all saucy.
That's her.
That's her as a human.
So real quick before we leave this area of Tellest, before we leave Daltane and Forsythia and everything like that, we've got one more Arcanist that's going to be joining not this group necessarily, but going to be joining that area that we've been working on. So would you like to speak to Rowentis at all?
Sure. So Rowentis is coming up in the story that Michael and I are working on, Whispers of the Weirdwood. He is specifically a wand-making wizard.
Wonder where you got that.
I don't know. Just felt like making a wizard who makes wands. But he is a very interesting character. He's sort of eccentric, but also, likes to be left alone.
Oh, 1 second. Thank you for the follow, Miss Necro. I appreciate that. Miss Necro says, "Looks like a bundle of fun."
Oh yeah, we have a lot of fun with the world of Tellest. Rowentis is very much inspired by like the regular Merlin in the Sword and the Stone Disney movie as well, but a little bit more Urkel-y in his dealings.
He's not Urkel, he's Quirkle.
He's Quirkle. He's a quirky wizard.
Yeah.
And Gaston is one of the, I think, as he says, one of the only people who will tolerate him for long stretches of time. So, so they are friends.
We are beginning on that story now. Just about, we had the Christmas story and the Halloween story that we had to wrap up very late, but we are on the way to working our way through that. Rihanna's got me the latest outline, and I started writing it. We've got a little bit of Rowentis to show off, and then we've got a couple of his friends that he's going to be bringing with him to this part of the world. So we're very excited about that. So we're going to be taking a trip a little bit to the northeast. We're going to be in Adelatha with the Duke's daughter, Alicia Main. She's kind of another flagship character of ours because she was our ambassador for the Quantum Quest brand. She was the one who is dead center on the cover of the box art. She was the one who was on the cover of the Quantum Quest Quarterly that we made.
Buxom in this photo. I think she's just another fun factoid about this character.
Buxom. So there we go. We have Alicia as she appears on the Quantum Quest cover. I think that the plan is going to be the most popular Tellest character that we have in the set is going to be on the cover of Quantum Quest Quarterly. So we're going to have not an Arcanist, but Kelvin Dracos on the cover of the second one. I like the idea of him having his card on like the end of an arrow and like being like pointed towards like the quote unquote camera.
I like it.
So
she's a fire mage.
Yep. We haven't said much about Alicia. So she's kind of in the original timeline, she didn't really qualify as an Arcanist because all of her power was denoted by the items that she had on hand. But she has begun studying in the arcane arts, and she's got a little bit more of a penchant for kind of elemental magic in the new timeline, and a little probably less clerical know-how in magic and stuff like that. She's been learning from a wizard named Andrakitis, who we'll see a little bit more of next. But Alicia has definitely become, one of people's favorite characters, I think, because of the art. Because
she's got some beautiful art.
Very expressive art. We've got another one of our really popular ones here.
That's a button.
That's what?
It's on a button.
It's on a button.
We have
It's such a weird.
What?
Weird
We have the Tellest button.
That's on a button. It's just a weird way to put it.
Well, it is. Am I wrong?
It's very tough. I feel like for most artists to get fire right, especially like as it like shows up on your skin. But B Gonzalez got like the specular highlights right, the glow through and everything. Like she did a really really good job with this piece, which is why it's on a button. So we mentioned Andrakitis. We got a couple of pieces of Andrakitis here. Andrakitis is I went to the school of Marvel Comics here and named him after what he does instead of having just a random name that made sense doing something else. Andrakitis is a Draco Sage, hence the dragon iconography and everything like that. We've, his kind of picture it as if you were playing a video game and you spent more for skins. That's what he does with his magic. So he gets to kind of do something different with his magic. Pretty much does the same thing. It just looks a little bit spiffier. But he also has a little dragon companion, Styx, who thus far we haven't really seen, but in this third image, just there in the orb of his staff, you can see Styx. Styx is a white fey dragon. So
I think we used young James McAvoy as the photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes
for this.
Sometimes when you're giving people references to something, they go, "I'm going to make that person." Yeah. And sometimes I say, "We're going to keep it that person." We have one of Pendritch where we completely turned around and said, "Nah, he looks a little bit too much like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We're going to take that, back. I don't need Negan on the character art that we have for this person, but." We'll do this last one before we go on our sponsor break, but we don't have art for Wispus. Wispus was a wizard. You snuck up here.
Wispus was a wizard.
Wispus was a wizard. He was a wizard that showed up in the very first book in the Child of the Stars trilogy, so the first official book in the Tellest universe. He ended up... We got Luna over here doing her own magic. She is. It took way longer than the 3 and 5 minutes that we thought. So Wispus was introduced in the Bindings of Fate. He was, for anybody who was just arriving at the town of Westwick, nobody would have really thought that he was anything except for the mayor or the elder of the village. But he has a secret arcane abilities, and to the point where when Westwick was under attack from Blacklane, he ended up doing some pretty cool stuff, and together with his artificer abilities, ended up shrinking his mansion and shrinking down all the people of Westwick to fit everybody inside it and keep them hidden and safe from the encroaching army. And he is currently taking over the job of educating one of the elves from the Whisperwind tribe. He's teaching Narralindra how to cast magic, and we will be taking a look at her on the other end after we are done with this sponsorship. So give me 1 second. Always hard at work on multiple series, author Aaron Renfro is currently making magic with the penultimate book in his Resonance Cycle series. Night Unleashed sees the Lit RPG series character mainstays coming to terms with the fact that, though they may have supernatural talents, even they can bleed. With the final battle not far off, Renfro puts the pieces into their positions, leaving a promise for readers and fans that what is to come will be nothing short of legendary. If you enjoy lit RPGs and isekai adventures, you'll be fully immersed with the magic and splendor of Night Unleashed, the 6th book in the Resonance Cycle. Check out our promo on the Tellest website this week. I had myself on mute, so the only thing that they saw was technical difficulties when I turned the camera off and showed her on top of you. Do you need to take a second?
No, I can breathe. Okay.
Careful, Luna, careful.
What did I come back to?
Sorry. It's just Luna being a nut. So our youngest dog is also our biggest dog, and she thinks that she's the smallest one.
Oh, God. Okay.
There you go. Brianna, her neck is going to hurt in the morning for sure.
Okay.
Good times. So Naralindra.
Yeah, how about that?
So Naralindra was an elf that we introduced in, I believe, the third book in the Child of the Stars trilogy. So Vinatharan, her cousin, is the more popular, the more well-known of the elves. Yeah. And Vinatharan was technically in the book that shall not be named from like 23 years ago.
When you was a baby.
Right. But Vinatharan, her ability is inherent, so it's not technically an arcane talent. It's so all the elves of the Whisperwind tribe can teleport to anywhere that they've been twice per day. Naralindra has that ability as well, but she's learning magic from Wispus, so she's got a lot of wind magic. Like wind magic is the stuff that she likes to research and study.
Just realized I didn't make her wand.
Stick.
I could. Nice little stick wand.
Or you have that one to go with.
Or big staff stick.
Big staff stick. So she's not the only elf that we've kind of seen. This one's kind of tricky because Evensar, who is Icarus's brother, he is not really a mage or a wizard or anything. He's a druid. But I feel like for the purposes of what we're trying to get, what are you doing? You going to take a picture of Evensar?
No. Making sure the audio's still working.
Gotcha.
After that one blunder we had.
One blunder?
Yeah. Did a whole thing and no sound came out at all.
Whoops. So Evensar is a druid, but I think because you're technically getting your magic from the arcane still, it still counts as being an arcanist. I feel like the clerics and stuff like that, they get their abilities from like divine power, so it's not quite the same, but it is what it is. Miss Necro, I came back to Big Dog killing a woman and everything muted.
She was not killing me. She was smothering me with kisses, preventing me from breathing, therefore slightly killing me.
Automod said, this message is held for misogyny. I am going to allow that through.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's see. Good times. So that's Evensar. We have one other elf who we're currently going to be showing off that has some magical talent, and that is Rosarius, who's the... What are you laughing at?
Just Luna's face. She's so desperate for our attention.
I'm going to jump on your face again.
Oh my goodness.
Rosarius is the villain of the book The Fall. He's just got inherent magical ability, and one of the reasons that he's the villain is because he's trying to stop humanity from being able to use any kind of magical ability, because humans and magic equals bad in his eyes.
I mean, he's got a point.
Right. Well, I mean,
to be fair,
the ambition of humans makes them very dangerous, so if you add that and magic, it really does become a troublesome kind of point of contention. But we do have Icarus in the back here trying to put a stop to Rosarius's evil ritual. And then we come to probably one of your favorites. Did you do...
She's a kitty lady.
She's a kitty lady. Did you do her stuff yet?
I did not, but I have the stuff to make it.
That'll be fun. We've got a couple of different versions of her staff too, because remember we had like the voodoo version of her staff. So
did I contribute her to Tellest?
No, that was Paul.
Oh, okay.
So we needed a Kaja concept, and he gave us this picture, and then went, I like the name Kayanani. And then, so
it was born.
It was born from Paul, and then we kind of said, all right, we're going to make her a dragon speaker. So her magical abilities are kind of different than the other ones as well, because she inherits her magical talents from the bond that she makes with her dragon companion. So it still comes from the arcane, and she does kind of learn it herself as well, but it's peculiar in the way that it's obtained, that knowledge. Don't be talking about cats.
I mean, she's also on like a journey of learning how to be like a leader for her people and whatnot.
Right, absolutely. So we do have a couple of pieces on the Tellest website.
Goober?
I don't even know what to call you, Luna.
She just whines and then looks at us and tilts her head like,
What are you guys talking
what
about?
Could you possibly be interested in right now?
We have this one little sprite version of Edmund currently on the Tellest website. You've seen the one that we had behind the scenes that probably won't be up until like 2025 based on the schedule that we keep. But Edmund is a weather wizard that was introduced as an April Fool's story. Would you like to speak to Edmund?
It was... So essentially the April Fool's version of this story was ending in a Rickroll. That was the joke. But his power is almost exclusively weather wizardry, so he's a valuable asset to, let's say, seafaring folk and whatnot. So he does kind of keep his powers on like the hush-hush.
Yep.
But he was introduced in the form of like a... It was a love story, but it was a subtle, like a one-sided love story because the girl was just a little eccentric and not really realizing.
She was aloof.
She was, yeah.
So she didn't realize that he cared, and then by the time the second story rolls around, it's a little bit more obvious.
More obvious that they got, yeah. So the idea was that Cassandra was this person who thought that she could, like, predict weather patterns. Like, she thought she was 100% accurate. She was very, like, you know, dead set on the idea that, like, everything that she looked at with the stars and everything was perfectly aligned. And he basically, like, saw that she was disappointed when she was wrong, so he made her always correct. And then she thought she had a super special
There's
power.
going to be a tidal wave. Oh, no, I'm going to have to kill all these people.
I just made it snow yesterday.
And then, like you said, we had a story following that showed them on basically a pirate ship, and they used his talents to help, you know, fill the sails with wind and stuff like that. He and Cassandra are going to be showing up again in the second Heart of the Forest book of the Ranger series, and if we ever do end up making the Relic series, he'll end up showing up in that as well. So we're going to move forward to our final Arcanist, and that is going to be Bixby Aladocious, who is another April Fool's character who stepped up in a big way.
He's a mystic of the Calistrazi, so we have the super Calistrazi mystic Bixby Aladocious.
So, and for anyone who is listening to this now or later down the line who might not know what Bixby's deal is, a lot of the characters in the Tellest universe have something called the Strain, which kind of gives them magical talent beyond, you know, learning spellcraft and stuff like that. You know, we have people who can sense magic nearby. We have people who can scream really loud. It's basically like medieval superheroes. Bixby's superpower is that he can die a lot.
As many times as he wants.
Yep. So anytime Bixby dies, he basically can walk through the Nexus, which is like the gateway to the afterlife, back to the real world. And his previous body remains behind, and he basically reconstitutes his soul around a new body. So you can have dozens of Bixby corpses in an area before he realizes
skulls, infinite bones.
Yep. So a lot of the times when you're seeing Bixby artwork, it's kind of macabre. So we usually try and have two versions of him hanging out with himself. So this was, I think, the very first bit of Hosier artwork that we got.
And this very much captures the essence of Bixby. Like, if he doesn't necessarily have consequences, he's gonna be a little weird.
Right. I mean, if you can die and die and die and die, you start to go a little mad. I feel like, you know,
Well, not only that, but you see yourself dead constantly.
Right, right. So there's that, and then there's the idea that, like, all right, I went through the worst pain that anybody's ever going to experience, and I came out the other side, and then I did it again and again and again. And it gets to a point where it's like, let me research what dying is like. Let me research all the ways to die. Let me research the ways that nobody is ever going to die, because, you know,
I'm going to eat all the marshmallows until I explode.
I was thinking you were going to say mushrooms, but no, marshmallows.
I was thinking of the chubby bunny thing.
Let's see how many marshmallows will kill me. So another of our pieces. He's another one of the ones that we fan casted, and I think this one is probably as close as it gets to the character as we envisioned him. Do you remember who he was based off of?
The actor?
Yeah.
No.
Dylan O'Brien.
Oh, yeah, D-Bry.
Yep. So
we love him.
We've kind of always pictured Bixby as Dylan O'Brien, because I feel like he's been pretty close to death himself at this point.
Yeah, both as an actor and as his characters in a lot of things.
Yep. So, but that is our Bixby.
Yes.
That is our Bixby Aladocious. Now, this is a non-exhaustive list of Arcanists from the Tellest universe. We've got plenty more to show off, including ones who are in books with the people who we've talked about already. So we talked about Adelia, and in her third book, we get to see a couple of other Arcanists, most notably. Well, we'll save it for later, because there is going to be a volume 2, and we're going to continue to bring new and interesting wizards and witches and the like to the Tellest universe. But I think what we'll do for now is we'll keep it to a quick 30 like we usually do.
Go give Luna some attention.
Before she jumps your face again.
Have some chalky milk. Oh, ice cream?
Well,
do you want the chalky milk?
But nothing was asked.
Do the man want his chalky milk?
I am legally obligated to say the man do want his chalky milk, even if we decide otherwise. So let's wrap this up. Let's go.
He shamed me in the past.
It's not a shame to say no, I don't want a chocolate milk. But is. So now but now it's considered a shaming event. All right, let's go to the show closing page. So, folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest content. The Tellest website, where we've hung out for the past half hour, is probably the best place to start. But you can find us on a couple of sites where we have our premium content. So we have patreon.com/Tellest, which is where we do, at least for now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do art content. That's probably going to slow down a little bit, and we're going to focus a little bit more on the battle map side of things. So we have battle map content that comes out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That might, again, come out a little bit quicker because we are wrapping up maps quicker. We are doubling down on the point of interest documents now. Are you laughing at her squeaks?
Yes.
But on the physical side of things, if you want to go to tellest.etsy.com, that's where you can find the battle maps in on these giant jumbo mouse pads that are like 20 by 40 inches. We have posters, we have bookmarks, we have stickers, and then we have Rihanna's Weird Witch wands, which are handcrafted, one-of-a-kind magic wands. Are they really magic? You'll have to buy one to find out.
There is a disclaimer that says, can't promise they're magical, but in the right hands, anything is possible.
There you go. And you can also find more about her Weird Witch wands on her TikTok channel, which is tiktok.com/@weirdwitchwands. And then if you want to find out more about Luna,
the more important of all of our
the dog who is trying her best to audition as a guillotine, tiktok.com/@talesofTellest, and Tails is spelled like a dog's tail.
She's adorable. We have 2 other doggies that are well behaved for the most part, and then we have our Luna, who is possibly clinically insane, but we love her for it.
And you compare her a lot to me, so that works out.
True.
So we have, I think this is episode 30, so we have 29 other Talking Tellest videos on youtube.com/@worldoftellest. But if you ever want to see us talk Tellest live, you have to go to twitch.tv/thattellestguy on Mondays at 7, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays we make maps. So thank you for joining us. it was nice to talk about our Arcanists, and it was nice to say hello to some new people. And we miss you.